last week, but it's good to be back, and I'm joined by some special guests. Now, we all know who Jake the dog is, but who is this? Hello! Seamless. How are you doing? Welcome to the proper studio.
The proper studio.
The best one. Hey.
Thanks for inviting me.
We are going to carry on our series on Bible bad guys this week. We have looked at so far, who did we look at last week? Pharaoh, and the week before, we looked at the snake. So I'm going to start you off with a question, okay? The question is, who is your favorite Bible bad guy and why?
We can share the mic because they live upstairs near me. Hey, that's a better improvement. So my favorite bad guy is King Nebuchadnezzar, because he had no patience and actually he made some stupid decisions. But the but to the story was, do you want me to say? Yes. Okay, the but to the story was that actually after he put 4 people into a fiery furnace, he realized that actually he was pretty stupid and he needed to listen to those 4 people. So there's something that I've learned. Need to listen. Do you want this back?
Yes, please.
I think I'm enjoying this too much. Guys, I don't know if you can text in, but I think you probably can do some stuff. So if we want to get Emma dunked today or to do something naughty to her today, because it's all about being naughty, then please do write in, text, do whatever you need to do, because it would make my day and the dogs.
Shocking. This is absolutely shocking. This is the worst. Oh no, and the dog's gone as well. Okay, we are going to head over to the other part of our studio so we can learn more about how we can learn from those villains and also how we can cope with the villains of today. But we're going to start with our memory verse, and that is with Jacob. Hello, are you there?
Hello. Good morning. So we've got a new memory verse that we'd like to get started, and it's from Psalm 1, verses 5 to 6. So if you want to grab a Bible or go onto your phone and have a look, then we're going to be starting from that. So let's start from verse 5. So I've got some actions for this. So sinners won't have an excuse. So sinners won't have an excuse on the day of judgment. So sinners won't have an excuse on the day of judgment, and they won't have a place with the people of God. So let's bring that together. So sinners won't have an excuse on the day of judgment, and they won't have a place with the people of God. Have you got that so far? Great. Great, Sam. So that's verse 5. Let's go on to verse 6. So the Lord protects everyone who follows him. So the Lord protects everyone who follows him. But the wicked follow a road that leads to ruin. I like that bit at the end. So, but the wicked will follow a road that leads to ruin. So, let's see if we can mash that all together. So, verse 5 and 6. You ready? Good. Okay. So, sinners won't have an excuse on the day of judgment, and they won't have a place with the people of God, and the Lord protects everyone who follows him, but the wicked follow a road that will lead to ruin. So try and remember that this week, and we'll hopefully do it again next week. Okay, over to somebody else.
We're going to worship now. We're going to have some pre-recorded videos, but if you look in the top right-hand corner, you might see Beth and me. We're going to go for that now.
suit on. Every battle that I face, I'll be ready when the arrows fly my way. Hold me steady, this way, I know you're with me every step I take. Oh, this way, I know you're with me every step I take. I've got the sword of the spirit, the shield of faith, the belt of truth around my waist. When I feel weak, you make me strong, never back down. I've got my God suit on. Your saving grace, guard my head. Your righteousness, like a bulletproof vest. These good news shoes were made to run, never back down. I've got my God suit on, never back down. I've got my God suit on. Ten, nine, eight, seven, six. Got my hands in the air and the praise on my lips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Every battle I face, my God has won. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Got my hands in the air and the praise on my lips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Never back down. I've got my God suit on. This way, I know you're with me every step I take. Oh, this way, I know you're with me every step I take. I've got the sword of the spirit, the shield of faith, the belt of truth around my waist. When I feel weak, you make me strong, never back down. I've got
then run straight over to craft table because that's what we're going to do right now. Thank you for joining the actions. Thank you, Rog, for making that super fun as well. Okay, so we mentioned last week we looked at David and Goliath, and I thought we could make a slingshot on some paper or cards. You need some paper. You're going to need some lollipop sticks. You're going to need either to print off David knew that God was with him, or you can write it on all nice and fancy how you like, loads of different colours. And you're going to need another different colour bit of paper at the bottom. Can you see the rocks there as well? There's 5 smooth stones. We'll hear about it just now. So, I'm going to try and do this with a microphone in my hand. So I've got my 3 lollipop sticks. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to glue this on the top. So, get my glue out. Pop it on the top, nice and straight. Look at that. David knew that God was with him. Remember that, it's important. Right, so I'm going to try and use some PVA glue now. If you don't have PVA glue, don't worry, normal glue should be okay. I just found it did quite a good job on the lollipop stick. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the lollipop stick, or you can stick it on the paper where you want to stick it. Here we go. Pop that off. Come on, glue. Couple of dots.
Pop it up. Pop it there. Okay.
Now the next bit, I'm definitely going to have to put this microphone down. Emma can come and hold it for me. 1 and 2. You've got 2 of the lollipop sticks. You've got a pipe cleaner. I cut it a little bit shorter. But what we're going to do, thank you, is wrap one bit round, about 1.5 round one bit. Pop the other one bit on. And the same again, 1.5 bits. So then it's all connected together. So then we can pop it back on the paper like this, and then it looks like the slingshot that I've already shown you. So then you glue that down. PVA, PVA. Oh, that's well too much. We're going to get PVA overspill here. That's fine. Messy's okay in the kids' studio. Make sure you're okay to make a mess at home first. Put something down. It's not going to be as straight as my other one, but it's going to be a slingshot all the same. And then, on a bit of other card, I draw some circles, I cut 2 out, I'm going to stick them down the bottom, boom, boom. They're not very good circles, they're more like stones. You can put your 5 down there, and then, special treat, I've signed it, so if I go anywhere else, see these cool, might be worth something. We're going to have a story now. Sorry, are you ready?
No.
Thanks, guys. That's our slingshot craft. Here comes Emma, and she's going to need this microphone again. Here she comes.
Okay. Oh, we made it. Okay. Who is ready for story time? Yay! We all are here. Make sure you grab your biscuits and your drinks if you're at home, or pizza, or lasagna, or ice cream, or roast dinner, or what were the other ones we did? Pumpkin pie, if you fancy that. That's not obligatory. Doesn't seem that nice to me. Or nice bar of chocolate, and we are going to read from 1 Samuel 17. I'm completely out of breath from running around the studio. I'm actually going to swap to the main studio camera. So if I walk this way, you should see me appear just over here. Fabulous. Are we ready? This is the bit where David is going to go and fight Goliath, okay? Chapter 17, Goliath challenges Israel's army. The Philistines got ready for war and brought their troops together. Now the Philistines are going to be Beth. So here comes Beth. She's going to appear from this part of the studio. She's going to stand over here, and she is the Philistines. Look angry. Hurrah! Fabulous. Together, and they are going to attack the town of Socoh in Judah. They set up camp. Fabulous setting of the camp there. They set up camp at Ephes Damim between Socoh and Azekah. King Saul and the Israelite army set up camp on the hill overlooking Elah Valley. Here comes Saul and the Israelite Samuel. And they're going to be on the other side here, looking down the hill. They got ready to fight the Philistine army that was on the hill on the other side of the valley. Are you ready to fight? Yes, he says. The Philistine army had a hero named Goliath Roger, who is coming right now, who is from the town of Gath and was about 300,000 meters tall, or it just says 3 here. Here he comes. Here comes Goliath. And he can come and stand over with the Philistines, or in front of the camera, which is going to be fabulous. He can come and stand just over here, behind here. Fabulous. The Philistine army had a hero named Goliath, who was from the town of Gath and was about 300,000 million meters tall. He wore a bronze helmet, huzzah, and he had a bronze helmet and a bronze armor to protect his chest and his legs. The chest armor alone weighed about 57 kilograms. He carried a bronze sword. Your sword is over there, if you want to go and grab it. Carried a bronze sword that he strapped to his back, and his spear was so big that the iron spearhead alone weighed about 7 kilograms. A soldier always walked in front of Goliath to carry his shield. Goliath went out and shouted to the army of Israel, "Why are you lining up for battle?"
Why are you lining up for battle?
"I'm the best soldier in our army."
I'm the best soldier in the army.
"And all of you are in Saul's army. I am still better than you. Choose your best soldier to come out and fight me. If he can kill me, our people will be your slaves. But if I kill them, your people will be our slaves. Here and now, I challenge Israel's whole army. Choose someone to fight me." Saul and his men heard what Goliath said, but they were so frightened. They were so frightened of Goliath that they couldn't even do a thing. Oh my gosh, he's petrified. Now, David's father, Jacob, he's going to come over here. David's going to be Jacob, and the father is Jesse, who is also you, Sam. You are multi-talented. Just make yourself look like you're David. Fabulous. David's father, Jesse, was an old man, here he comes, who belonged to the Ephrath clan, if I said that right, and lived in Bethlehem in Judah. Jesse had 8 sons. The eldest was Eliab. The next was why are these so difficult? The next had a really complicated name, and Shammah was the third. The 3 of them had gone off to fight in Saul's army. Now David was Jesse's youngest son. He took care of his father's sheep. Now the sheep's gone to sleep over there, so we'll leave him there. And he went back and forth between Bethlehem and Saul's camp. Goliath came out and gave his challenge every morning, hurrah, and every evening for 40 days. Oh my goodness, that was close to my face. One day, Jesse told David, "Hurry and take this sack of roasted grain and these 10 loaves of bread, delicious, and take them to your brothers at the army camp. Here are 10 large chunks of cheese or toffee-flavored dessert topping. And take them to the commanding officer and find out how your brothers are doing." So you need to give them to David to take.
Take all this stuff, David. Get it to your brothers. They might be hungry. The little wimp.
So David went off on his little trek to visit Saul's army fighting in the Philistines in Elah Valley. David obeyed his father. He got up early the next morning and left someone else in charge of the sheep. Then he loaded the supplies and started off. He reached the army camp just as the soldiers were taking their places and shouting the battle cry. Oh my goodness. amazing. Oh. And shouting the battle cry, the army of Israel and the Philistine army stood there facing each other. You are Saul, yeah. Huzzah! Oh my goodness. David left his things with the man in charge of supplies. That's me. I'll happily take those snacks. Thanks. And ran up the battle line to ask his brothers if they were well. While David was talking to them, Goliath came out from the line of the Philistines and started boasting as usual. David heard him. When the Israelite soldiers saw Goliath, they were scared and ran off. Ha ha, indeed. They said to each other, look how he keeps coming out to insult us. The king is offering a big reward to the man who kills Goliath. The man will even get to marry the king's daughter, and no one in his family will ever have to pay taxes again. David asked some soldiers standing nearby, what will a man get for killing this Philistine and stopping him from insulting our people? Who does that worthless Philistine think he is? He's making fun of the army of the living God. The soldiers told David what the king would give the man who killed Goliath. David's eldest brother heard him talking with the soldiers. He was angry when he said to him, what are you doing there anyway? Who's taking care of the little flock of sheep out in the desert? You came here just to watch the fighting, didn't you? Now what have I done? David answered. Can't I even ask a question? Somehow the sheep appeared in the valley too. Then he turned and asked another soldier the same thing he'd asked the others, and he got the same answer. Here, sheep. Come here, sheep. Up. Good boy. Some soldiers overheard David talking, so they told Saul what David had said. Saul sent for David, and David came. Saul, come back.
Come here, David.
Your Majesty, said David. This Philistine shouldn't turn us into cowards. I'll go out and fight him myself. Oh, the sheep is very friendly sheep. You don't have a chance against him, Saul replied. You're only a boy and he's been a soldier all his life. But David told him, Your Majesty, I take care of my father's sheep, and when one of them is dragged off by a lion or a bear, I go after it and beat the wild animal until it lets the sheep go. Sir, I have killed lions and bears, and I can kill the worthless Philistine that way. He shouldn't have made fun of the army of the living God. The Lord has rescued me from the claws of lions and bears, and he will keep me safe from the hands of the Philistine. All right, Saul answered. Go ahead and fight him, and I hope the Lord will help you. Saul had on his own military clothes and armor and had them put on David instead. He gave David a helmet to wear and his shield. But David said, I can't move with all this stuff on. I'm just not used to it. David took off the armor and picked up his shepherd's stick woggle instead. He went out to the stream and picked up 5 smooth ping pong ball stones, of which the sheep is sat on one, so you can only have 4. Never mind. Oh, there we go. He went out to the stream, picked up his stones, and put them in his leather bag. Then with his sling in one hand, he went straight towards Goliath, who was stood in front of the Philistine army. Goliath came towards David, walking behind the soldier who was carrying his shield. When Goliath saw that David was just a healthy, good-looking boy, he made fun of him. Do you think I'm a dog? Goliath asked, Is that why you've come after me with a stick? He cursed David in the name of the Philistine gods and shouted, Come on, when I'm finished with you, I'll feed you to the birds and the wild animals. Yeah, David answered, You come out to fight me with a sword and a spear and a dagger, but I've come out to fight you in the name of the Lord. Woohoo! All powerful, he is the God of Israel's army, and you have insulted him too. Today the Lord will help me defeat you, and I will knock you down and cut off your head, and I'll feed the bodies of the other soldiers to the birds and the wild animals. That's a bit gross. The Lord always wins his battles, and he will help us defeat you. He let go of one strap, and the stone flew out of his sling and hit Goliath on the forehead. Nearly. Yay! And hit Goliath on the forehead. It cracked his skull and he fell to the ground. David defeated Goliath with a sling and a stone. He killed him without even using a sword. After King Saul had watched David go out and fight, Saul turned to the commander of his army and said, "Who is this young man?" "Your Majesty, I swear by your life that I don't know." "Then find out," Saul told him. When David came back from fighting Goliath, he was still carrying Goliath's head. Oh, that is really, really disgusting. "I am David, the son of Jesse, a loyal Israelite from Bethlehem." He says, yes, he is. What an amazing story. Thanks to all our actors. We are going to go and unpack that some more now with Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy.
Thanks, Emma, for reading that for us. I wonder, what's the biggest thing that you have ever seen? Last year, I got to travel all the way over to Canada with my family, and we saw 3 huge things. One was Niagara Falls. It's enormous. It's the widest waterfall in the whole world. It's massive and it's so noisy, and we got absolutely drenched. The second thing was the CN Tower, and we climbed all the way to the very top. It's the 3rd tallest tower in the whole world, and it's enormous, and if I'm honest, very, very scary. I don't like heights. And when you look down at the streets below, the cars look like teeny tiny little ants. They're so small. And we also stood on the shore of Lake Huron and paddled our feet in it as well. And it's so wide that you can't even see the other side. It's enormous. Such big things. Emma just told us a story about a big person called Goliath. He was so big, everyone was scared of him. Well, almost everyone. David saw Goliath, and all he thought was, well, my God's bigger than him. Sometimes big things come along in our lives, like changing schools, starting a new group, and even horrible viruses. They might make us stop and think. They might even scare us a little, or even a lot. But just like David, we can trust in God. He's a God who is bigger and stronger than all of those things put together. And we know we can trust God to beat all these big, scary things because he sent Jesus to defeat the biggest thing of all, death. Jesus defeated death by coming back to life again. And now, if we trust and follow Jesus, we can live forever with him too. And whilst we're living here, there might still be big things that scare us, but here's a verse that's worth remembering. I can do all this by the power of Christ. He gives me strength. And you can find that in Philippians 4, verse 13. Have a great week, guys. See you soon.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been such a dream. I don't know about you, but I've had so much fun today. Just a little challenge for this week. Just what Chrissy was saying. Have a think about some of the things that are really scaring you at the moment. Have a pray and just remember that God is bigger and ask him to show you that. We are so glad that you joined us today, and we can't wait to see you next week. Bye! Your story was so fun. Did you see the look on my face?